There you go, this was lesson,
Pretest.
16, okay? Big test. What's that? 16A. Number 1 is no. Just simply for the fact that if you don't start at the same time and you're both going the same speed, nobody's going to catch anybody. However, if you do graph them, the lines would be parallel. Number 2 is positive correlation. 3 is 2 times the square root of xy. 4 is 8. 5, a squared minus 16. 6, y equals 5x. 7, y equals 45. Oh, sorry. 8, x squared outside of x plus 4 times x plus 3. Number 9 is x plus 2 times x plus 6. 10 is 3x plus 2 in parentheses times x minus 1. 11 is $16,000. 12 is x is greater than negative 3 and x is less than or equal to 4. Or you could have x in the middle. You could look with the negative 3 on one side, 4 on the other, less than sign, blah, blah, blah. 13. The vertical asymptote is 5. X equals 5. The horizontal one is 0. 19, you were to make a table where you've got red, yellow, red, red, yellow, red. And the probabilities were what? 1/9? 1/6. 1/6 of anything, right? Yes. 15 is 1/9. 16, 5, and negative 5. 17, an interesting one, is $37. 18 is 49. 19 is x is less than or equal to negative 3. Less than or equal to negative 3, which means there's a closed circle at negative 3 going left. 20 is x is greater than negative 4. Which is an open circle at negative 4 going to the right. Michael? 3x plus 2 times x minus 1. Grace? 3x plus 2 times x minus 1. These would be the times that Tryman solves. Grace. Number 15. For number 15, ladies and gentlemen, for tomorrow, please, please, please make sure that you have, with you that notes, that little table of the dice thing. You know, that's in your notes where you have this thing where it shows the possible combinations. If you roll a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You roll 2 dice here, all your combinations. And you just need to have your table. I will give you the shortened version of this. It said the possible ways to make 3, right? You can make 3 with a 2 and a 1, or a 1 and a 2. There's only 2 ways to make a 3, and then the other one was a what, 11? Was it 11?
Yeah.
My way to make 11 is to roll a 5 and a 6, or a 6 and a 5. There's only 2 11s out there. Now you have to be careful when you read this. It says the probability of rolling a sum of 3 or. And when it's an or, that means either one of them can happen. You add the probabilities together. The only time you would do anything other than that is if they could happen at the same time, then you'd have to subtract the number of times it happens at the same time, but you can't roll a 3 and an 11 at the same time. So the probability of rolling a 3 plus the probability of rolling an 11. The probability of a 3 is 2 out of 36. The probability of rolling an 11 is 2 out of 36. So you get a total of 4 out of 36 probability, which is 1/9. 1 out of 9 times you should get a 3 or an 11. But I would have this little chart with you tomorrow when you take the test because it'll help you. I should look and see if tomorrow's test. I think it's 16. Which one was it? How much? 4. Yeah. Sammy? 17. 17 might be the one that takes the most explanation. Okay, write this down on your paper because this is what you need to do. You really, and I know you guessed right, if you guessed right, you probably can look at this and maybe guess right, but here is the steps that you really need to do it. First of all, you need to find out, you need to write the equation. And you can't write an equation until you find out, you need to find out what the slope is. What you're looking to do is to write one of these bad boys, a linear equation in slope-intercept form, so that you can plug any number into it to find it. In order to do that, the first thing you need to do is find the slope. Okay? You need to find the slope because you are given, if you are graphing this, you don't have to graph it, I'm just going to show you. You're given 2 points. You're given 2, 16. Here's 2, and maybe here is 16. Let's go by, well, I don't know, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. You're given a point 2, 16, and you're given a point 323. 6, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2. You're given this line. If you can find the equation of that line, you'll be able to plug any number in for x, and you'll find out what y is. So how do you find slope? It's the change in y. Remember y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Takes a little time to do, but it's not that hard. What were my 2 points? 2, 16 and 3, 23. All right. So I have y2, 23 minus 16 on top, which is 7, over x2, which is 3 minus 2 on the bottom. It's a 7 over 1 slope, or just a 7 slope, right? You with me? So y equals 7x plus b. Any idea how I can find the letter b? Good, I'm glad. Step number 2 after finding the slope is you need to, number 1 slope, number 2, plug one of these 2 points, and it doesn't matter which one, in for x and y and figure out what b is. I know that x is 3 here, so I put 7 times 3 plus b equals y, and y is 23. And then solve that for b. What is 7 times 3? 21. If I subtract 21 from both sides, b equals what? Yeah, b equals 2. And that's what you put in for the letter b here. So here's your equation. No matter what number they give you, you can now solve it for whatever. It's y equals 7 times x plus 2. They happen to give you 5, So 7 times 5 is 35, plus 2 is 37. They could have given you 10. 7 times 10 is 70. 70 plus 2 is 72. Now, you may have been able to guess and get it that way, and you may have a different way to do it, and you'll still get it right. That's fine if you use that, but I'm telling you, this is the graphing linear equation sort of way.
When you put the numbers in for x sub 2 and y, and x sub 1, where's the 23 go? Or,
Well, this is y2, x2, this is
oh, the box.
x1, y1. You can make these the 2's and those the 1's, but you can't mix and say this is 2 and this is 1. These two have to either both be the 2's and the 1's or blah, blah, blah. This is probably the most one that's gonna take the most time on the test. I should look and see what they talk about. Let's look, because believe it or not, I have, oh, that's way too easy.
No, this one was. No, it wasn't right.
Oh,
You got it in 5 seconds. Good for you. And I got the answer right. Good for you.
Wow, listen to them argue people on YouTube. What's
Good
up
for
with
you.
that? Christine,
How did you get like 2?
which 2? Here?
Yeah.
Okay, once I figured out what the slope is, Christine, I had this, y equals 7x plus b. See these x and y values? I've got 2 groups here. I can pick either one to put in for x and y and then just see what b is. Let's do this one. I can put this in for x, 7 times 2, and I can put this in for y, which is 16. 7 times 2 is 14. To move it to the other side and solve for b, I subtract 14 from 16 and I get 2. That's my y-intercept. It wouldn't matter which one you did, it would always work out that way. Lots?
18.
Alexa, what's the word of mean? Change this to a decimal. How do I change it to a decimal? 1.4 times 35. You can't multiply 140% because you don't do percents with arithmetic very well. Grace, is
Number 10.
that on this page or the other page? Last one on the last page? Yeah. Anytime you see a binomial, Christian, you look to see if you can factor something out of all 3 terms, can I? No. So then I just have to look at this, reverse FOIL. What times what gives me 3x squared? You only have one option there. It has to be 3x times x. There's no other choices. And then when you see that there's a number here, you must realize whatever number you put here gets multiplied by that when you're looking for that middle term there. I've got to come up with a -1 when I put my numbers in these 2 spots. The nice thing is with the -2, there's really only 2 choices you have. It's either got to be -2 times in a +1 or a -1 in a +2. I mean, those are like combinations that give you that. And then it's just trial and error. If I put a -2 here and a +1 there, what do I get for my middle term? -6x for that and a +1x for that. It's not that. So you're probably going to have to flip these around and maybe put the 1 here and the 2 there. 1 times 3 is -3x, plus 2 times x is a +2x, and you get your -x middle term. So it has to be 3x plus 2 times x minus 1. There's no choice. Christine!
Where did you go with 15?
Which one is that? That 15?
No.
We did that one, sorry. Lutz?
For number 3, what if the x minus because there's 2 but it's substituting the x and
They do not. Here's what the deal with this is, Lutz. You have 7 square roots of xy. That means you have this. You have 7 of these things. Not multiply, but actually add together. You have 7 of these things added together. That's what 7 times any number. 7 times 5 means you have 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. Okay? I have 7 of them, which I only have 6 there. I am removing 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What am I left with? 2 of them. 2 xy's. You think of radicals just like variables. You can't, if I have x squared of xy minus the square root of xy, then there's nothing there because you're subtracting the same thing. But here you have 7 of them minus 5 of them. Calvin? Number, I don't know how to say 11. Let's see. Well, that's over here. Wait, was that on the other page? Yeah, on this page. 8, 9, 11. There's a couple schools of thought on this. A salesperson earns 12.5% commission on each car sold. What price must the car sell for in order for the salesperson to earn a commission of $2,000? One way to look at it is like this, Calvin. And I think I do this for a couple people here. You've got your original, which is 100, and this is an increase in percent of 12.5. We know that what? We know that 12.5% has to be $2,000, right? So what is your original going to have to be? We don't need to know the rest of that. So it's just right there. You could just say to yourself, 12.5% times what number is 2,000, because that's how you figure out percentages. It's always multiplication. And that's where a calculator would come in handy. 100 over 12.5 is going to equal some number over 2,000. It's 100. You get what? 200,000 divided by 12.5, which is whatever that is, 2,000. Is that right? 16,000. If you do the math, I'm not going to do the math. Sam is Ben?
Are we gonna go over something?
Which one? What was 7? I forgot even what it was about. What was that about? Am I going to go over 7? Oh no, we're not going to do joint variation. And no, and no, no, and no, and. I believe it's just direct variation where instead of you have y has to vary equally with x and z. I think. When y is 72 and x and z are 4. 24 times 3. It would look like this if you were thinking about it. We know this, that y, 72 equals a constant times 6 times 4. So 24 times what number gives you 72? 3. So my k is 3. So my k would be 3 there. So I fill in the blanks. I don't know what y is, but I know when I multiply 3 times x times z, taking a stab at it here, that y should equal 45. You don't have to worry about it, but that's what it would be. Did I get it right? Y is 45. I did. It just makes me feel good that I can do it. Alex!
19.
Not 19. Anything but 19. Alex, you're just solving this for x, just like an equation. So how do I get the x by itself? Add 5 to negative 23, you get negative 18. And how do I get x by itself now? Divide by 6, divide by 6. X is less than or equal to negative 3. The sign doesn't change, why? Because the only time the sign changes is when the x is negative, and you have to multiply divided by a negative. So that's your answer there, and then here at -3, open close circle, and x is less than that, so it goes this way. And this one's just as easy, you just subtract 3 here. X is greater than 2. You don't even have to deal with the moving anything around.
How'd you get -1?
Yeah.
What?
It would be -4, right?
It would be -4. That's not bad, huh? How about -4? Let's change that to -4. I'm not sure what I was thinking. I plead insanity and the fifth both at the same time. 13, is somebody saying?
Yeah.
13. I was just looking at the ones that might be equivalent. Remember, children, you are looking for the x and the y asymptotes, and if you think about it, if they give it to you in terms of vertical and horizontal, okay, the x asymptote has to be the vertical one, because where x is 2, you get a vertical line. X is vertical, and y is horizontal. Now, how do I know what it is? Well, you're looking for what x and y can't be. And if you look at the bottom of this fraction, what can't x be? What'll give you a 0 on the bottom down there? What number, when you subtract 5 from it, gives you 0? 5. So your vertical asymptote is 5. X can't be 5. So when you graph it, you know, that thing's gonna come close to 5 but never get there. Y, children, is the easiest one of all. Y is whatever number comes over here at the end of this. You've got your fraction, then you've got plus or minus some number. Well, this one doesn't have one, hence the reason why the y one is 0. Where y is 0, there is a horizontal one. And if you were asked to graph it, it would look like that and like this.
How do you know where the starting point for the horizontal line?
What's starting point?
Well, you drew a line to begin with.
Which, this one here?
Yeah, no, the second one.
This one?
Yeah.
Because y is 0. There's no number here, so you could put a 0 there. And where is y 0? Right here at the origin. And we just draw this dashed line at the origin horizontally. X is vertical. Y is always going to give you a horizontal line. Edward,
14.
lucky number 14. Yeah, and they said make a table. That's a pretty simple little thing to do there. You're going to do this. You're flipping a coin, so that's one side of the table. You have a heads and a tail. Doesn't matter which way you do this. And what were your other outcomes? You've got red 1, red 2, and a yellow. So this is the way just to chart all your outcomes. You can have a head red 1, you can have a tail red 1, a head red 2, a tail red 2, a head yellow, and a tail yellow. So you get 6 different outcomes. What's the theoretical outcome? Well, technically, probably because these marbles aren't marked, you could actually call these two the same thing. But theoretically, it's a 1 in 6 chance of getting any of those 6. Theoretically speaking. The difference between theoretical and experimental is experiment would be if you actually did it, what you get. Theoretical is, well, that's what it should be. Mathematically speaking. Yeah, of each of them. 1 out of 6 chance. We are so close. And what have we not done?
We did it.
I'm very much hoping that you don't struggle at all with problem 12 because first of all, you have to identify whether that's an and or an or. If they come together, it's and. You just need to do this. 4, -3, x in the middle. Always going to be the less than sign. It's a colored in circle, it's an equal. If it's not, then it's just like that. If the things went in opposite directions, you know, if this was colored in and went this way, and this was open and went this way, it's an or one, and you have to write two separate inequalities. X would have to be greater than 4. X would have to be, or x is less than or just, oh, sorry, greater than or equal to 4, less than, what is that, -3. If they went in opposite directions, it's or. If they come together, it's and. X in the middle. Hard to believe this is 8th grade stuff. They don't have to look at the number. 16. Yeah. Remember with absolute value stuff, you isolate the absolute value sign, so you divide by 3, so the absolute value of x is 5. And remember, when to get rid of the absolute value sign, you solve it twice. Once for the positive of that, once for the negative of that. X equals +5, x equals -5. We did absolute value equations before. They were exciting. Easy as can be. Oh, wait, yeah. Nothing else? What?
Eli's got it.
Eli! Eli! Eli!
Yes. Eli, man, I need these notes.
Hopefully in your notes you have two different equations. You've got inverse variation and direct variation. Inverse variation is y equals k divided by x, and direct variation is y equals k times x. You just need to figure out what, they asked for this one. You just need to figure out what the letter k is, which is just what do you multiply x by to get y. 2 times what is 10? There's your equation. You just put a 5 in for the k. Y, whatever k x is, you multiply it by 5 to get y. That is your equation. If it said inverse variation, you find the constant by multiplying those two together. If they were asking for the inverse, you'd have y equals 20 over x. Because they have to equal each other when you multiply them together. But they did. They asked for direct. And you good there. That should be relatively not too difficult. Positive negative correlation should not be difficult, I would think. Product of that, this is this, you just find factorize those.
So we won't do those.
My guess is not. And joint variation? 7. Yeah, you won't do that one. Ooh, that's a tough one. J. Number 8. Number 8, you just need to recognize that you can take something out of all those terms. What can I take out of this, this, and this? Not a number, but an x squared. And when you take the x squared out, you're left with an x squared plus 7x plus 12. And then once you get that, you need to try to factor this into 2 binomials. What times what gives you 12 when multiplied, when added gives you 7. I believe a 3 and a 4. X plus 4, x plus 3, x squared. is what gives me 12, a 6, and a 2. Gary?
I just have a quick question about number 8. So like, one of these, does it really matter what order you put them in?
Meaning your answer?
Yeah, does the 3 have to go first? Or?
Well, you can put x plus 4 times x plus 3. Yeah, the binomials we put up doesn't make any difference. In that one particularly. Going once, going twice. Going